We're back. This time we have Maria Swindell Gus, who is Executive Director of Visit Bartlesville, and she's our final guest today. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It is so good to be here.
There is a lot I want to ask you about, and a lot of it doesn't have a thing to do with you or your organization.
That's all right.
But I'm going to do it anyway, at least a little bit. We're going to be talking a bit about the Price Tower. There's a swirl of legal activity going on there, isn't there?
There is. Unfortunately, the people that owned the Price Tower felt like they could not maintain financially what they needed to do by keeping it open. And so their decision was to try to put the building up for sale. And they did entertain some different offers. I believe they were made an offer by a group out of Tulsa, and then at the final hour had decided to back out of that. So the next move was to put it up for auction on a large real estate auction website. And so they were proceeding with that, but in the meantime, the group out of Tulsa filed some legal action about the tower that they had not fulfilled their end of the agreement. So currently, they are still sort of in that legal mess, trying to figure out what will happen next. The building will either be sold to the party that was interested in it, or it may go up for auction. There are so many people in Bartlesville, and certainly outside of Bartlesville, people that are big supporters of the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation and the Conservancy.
Well, let me ask you about that.
Sure.
Was there any chance he ever came to Bartlesville?
He did. He worked with Mr. Price as he was designing the building, because Mr. Price, he owned H.C. Price Oil Company. He really just wanted a 4-story building for his business. And his son was an architecture student and had mentioned Frank Lloyd Wright and said, you know, Dad, you should hire this guy. He's kind of a big deal. And so he did. And Mr. Wright convinced him that instead of a 3-4-story building, he needed this 19-story, beautiful contemporary piece that is the Price Tower. That tower was originally 3 buildings that were designed for Manhattan. And the Great Depression came, the plans were scrapped, and when he was asked by Mr. Price's son to create this building, he pulled those plans back out, and that's how we got the Price Tower.
Well, I got to tell you, what he did in the design of that building is incredible.
It is absolutely.
Does anybody know where he stayed when he came to Bartlesville?
You know, I don't know where he stayed. He designed actually 2 homes, or 2 buildings in Bartlesville, the Price Tower, and then he also designed Mr. Price's home, which was called Hillside. And that is owned by a private family.
Is it still standing?
It is. It's still standing.
I bet it's beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful. I have the good fortune that they live across the street from me. And so I get to see the house every once in a while.
I've been through the building, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. So far ahead of its time. But we need to get back to what we're here to talk about.
Sure.
Which has to do with an event that takes place called the Festival of the Nativity. What is that?
So there was a group of people in Bartlesville that decided that, you know, your nativity set goes up and it's only there for you to enjoy, but there is such a diverse group of people that live in Bartlesville. Many of them, of course, worked for Phillips or ConocoPhillips, and so many of them have traveled or lived abroad. And so they had this wonderful idea to bring everyone's nativities on display. So they do that. It's actually a partnership between the Church of Latter-day Saints, St. John Church. They host it at their facility. And we have seen nativity sets from all over the world, just so beautiful, some that are very simple, some that are very ornate. And it was something just to sort of kick off the holiday season, invite people from so many different backgrounds and all different kinds of created nativities. I mean, they really are artwork at times.
I have seen nativities made out of just plain rock. Now, that's hard to imagine until you stand back and look at it, and you couldn't take your eyes off of it because the artist had put together a nativity out of rock. and you knew instantly what it was. You knew what you were looking at.
Well, and isn't that the intent, to elicit
It
some
is.
sort of emotion and
is.
reaction? And so when you walk into that building and they have all of those nativities set up, it really is something quite beautiful. It's the first week of December, and of course, anything that's happening in Bartlesville during the holidays should be on our calendar at visitbartlesville.com. And we really would love to see more people come and experience that. It's something that has taken place in other locations around the world.
And that starts December 6th.
Correct, right.
And they can get more information on your website?
Yes, sir.
Great. Hey, thank you for coming
Oh,
in.
you're so welcome. I'm so glad to be
You're
here.
a pleasure to talk to. I'm going to have to come up there and rattle the chains.
Please.
I got to find pictures of Frank.
Yes. Find some pictures of Frank and come to Bartlesville, and I'll take you out to lunch, Sam.
You're on. I'm a big eater. My middle name is Pig. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Well, we're all out of time. Thank you for being a part of it, and we'll see you back here again next week.